Finding the theme. What is theme? A theme is the message or lesson that an author is trying to convey in his or her story. It can be thought to be the main idea or point that the author is attempting to get across. Story or drama. In order to find the theme in a story or drama, we must pay attention to two things: how the characters act and what the main events are. By focusing on these two aspects, we will oftentimes find the theme of the story we are reading. Examples. For example, when reading the book Holes, we can pay attention to the characters' actions in the story and their growing maturity throughout the book. Next, we will focus on the main events in the story. The boys dig holes, Zero and Stanley escape, and the warden and Camp Green Lake are found to be doing the wrong thing. The theme of this book may be, things are not always as they seem. If you were to hear a story about a little girl who tried out for the softball team but did not make it the first time, so she tried again the next year and made it, the theme would be simple. If at first you don't succeed, try again. This is using the character's actions, trying out 2 years in a row, and the events, not making it the first year and making the team the second year, to decide on a theme. A lot of times themes are things that we hear every day in life. They're morals or things that tell us about good or bad, or just things that tell us about life. So a lot of times we decide the theme of things based on our prior knowledge. It's okay if you and your neighbor come up with a different theme or different words for the theme whenever you're reading the same story. People interpret situations and stories differently. Poetry. Finding the theme of a poem is similar to finding the theme of a story or drama. However, in this case, you'll be looking at two different aspects: what the speaker is describing and what the poem is mostly about. Finding themes of poems requires that we think outside the box and we decipher or figure out what the figurative language means. Examples. When we read The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, we discussed the theme of this poem as well. The speaker in this poem is describing a choice between two paths, one that is worn and one that is not worn. The poem is mostly about choices, which leads us to the theme of all life's choices have consequences, and it is better to take the road less traveled. It seems easier to find the theme of poems than of stories oftentimes, because that's generally what we are searching for when we read poetry. However, if you can apply this to poetry, you can apply it to stories and dramas as well. Let's review. The theme of a literary work is the message or idea that the author is trying to convey. In order to find the theme of stories or dramas, we must consider how the characters act and what the main events are. In order to find the theme of poetry, we must look at what the speaker is describing and what the poem is mostly about.